Hey, I'm Davin Friedman, class of 2026. Welcome to the Rambler podcast.
And I'm Natalie Spano, class of 2026. Before you dive into this episode, we wanted to share a quick message with you.
At Cathedral Prep, every opportunity we have in the classroom, on the field, and beyond is made stronger by the Fund of Excellence.
This fund supports tuition assistance, academic programs, athletics, and faith formation. Everything that makes prep.
When you give, you help students like us thrive.
Please make your impact today by visiting www.cathedralprep.com/give.
Thank you for believing
in us.
Hey everyone, my name is Jimmy Smith and welcome to episode number 88 of the Rambler podcast. We are passionate about sharing what makes Cathedral Prep the standard of excellence. And on this episode of the podcast, I'm really excited to have a longtime friend, fellow Blessed Sacrament Bulldog, class of 2007 classmates, Julia Gromacki with me here on the podcast. Julia graduated from Villa Maria Academy then in 2011 and went on to earn her bachelor's degree in business from Duquesne University. And while at Duquesne, she interned with UPMC in Pittsburgh's U.S. Steel Tower and with General Electric Transportation in Erie. And she also continued her longtime summer job at Waldemere Park. I worked there for a summer too. Fun times. After college, Julia moved to Orlando, Florida to attend Barry University School of Law. During her 3 years there, Julia had the opportunity to study abroad throughout Europe and also interned for a judge in Florida and worked in the Environmental and Earth Law Clinic. Later, she earned her LL.M. in dispute resolution from Pepperdine University in Malibu, California, where she worked as a mediator in the Superior Court and spent the rest of the time at the beach, as many of us would. When she returned home to Erie, Julia interned for Judge John Trusilla, prep class of the great 1978, and before serving as a law clerk to Judge Aaron Connolly Marucci at the Erie County Court of Common Pleas from 2020 to 2022. Julia now works as an attorney at Marsh Schaff LLP, where she practices in general civil litigation, real estate, and estate work. Julia is also active in the Erie County Bar Association and currently serves as chair of the Young Lawyers Division. So in her free time, she enjoys baking, going out to eat, traveling, special note here, especially to Puerto Rico to go visit her family, and then spending time with family and friends and working on her new home with her dog. How fun, Julia. It is great to have you.
Great to have me. That bio makes me seem a lot cooler than I actually am.
I think you undersell yourself. You've been all over the world and studying law and working your way up the ranks in your profession. Yeah. It's great to see.
It's been a journey. It's been a long journey. And that journey led me back to Erie, Pennsylvania. Now sitting in this podcast, so I'm excited to be here. And yeah, I'm happy to be here, Jimmy.
Yeah, it's great, and it's fun. I mentioned, obviously, when I was saying I'm thrilled to have you, fellow Bulldogs. We go way, way back. I mean, we were telling some inside jokes as we were walking around the halls of prep just now, too.
I know. We've had an eventful morning, and we spent the morning talking about Blessed Sacrament. May she rest in peace.
Yes.
But, I mean, I know we're here for the Prep and Villa podcast, but our relationship obviously predates this.
Yeah.
And the reason I went to Villa was because of Blessed Sacrament too. So we always have to give a little credit to our Blessed Sacrament Bulldogs.
That's right, fellow Bulldogs, and names that come to my mind are like Dylan Malpede and Kyle Witchkoff,
Jillian
May, Kaylee Jones.
I still see Kaylee all the time. She's also an attorney as well. She's doing really well. I talk to her all the time. I talk to Jillian almost weekly. She's doing really well. She has 2 kids. Shout out to you guys. You guys are really, really proud of them. And also Villa alums.
Yes.
They all went to Villa too.
Yep. We got to do like a Blessed Sacrament reunion at some point. Pull everyone together at the Bixby Field. That'd be fun.
The Bixby Field.
The Bixby Field, yeah.
Let's do it.
Oh, that's so fun. And it was great as we were walking around. We saw Father Mike, and it's funny how he named all of your siblings in order and exactly, all the names and everything. It's just amazing how he knows all these people and keeps it all in track. It was as if he was right there with you yesterday.
And he remembers that my mom used to be a lunch lady and dressed as Trinity on Halloween. And he's like, that was like my favorite costume. He named my siblings, and all my siblings, we all went to Prep and Villa, went to Blessed Sacrament. My dad, he knows my dad, class of '83. My grandma went there, aunts, uncles. I mean, we're Prep Villa family.
Yeah,
so.
that's awesome.
Yep.
So there is no doubt that you were going to be going to Villa, right? I mean, did you even have a question in the back of your mind, or was it just always Villa?
It was always Villa.
Yeah.
I mean, it was always Villa, and I think it was helpful too that the people we just named, Jillian and Kaylee and all them, they were also, going to Villa too. So it was, I mean, maybe I think we toured Mercyhurst, but I think we did that as just a formality.
Yeah.
It was always Villa, and
Yeah.
I was happy. I was so excited to be at Villa, and I was excited to do it with people I had grown up with as well.
Right.
We were in the same homerooms together, so that made it comfortable. And going from Blessed Sacrament, that small class, and then moving to Villa and having that small class, it was just so comfortable. And I knew I wanted to stay in that same environment of being able to have like those close relationships with my classmates and the close relationships with the teachers, and that's exactly what I got at Villa.
Yeah.
I mean, I was close, we had so much fun in our Villa classes. So
Oh, that's cool.
yeah.
What are some, like, when you think about those Villa days, are there certain like memories or teachers that really stand out to you as stuff that you really look back on and reminisce about?
I mean, at Villa, I think that our friend group, I would like to say, like, me, I've always been, I love to have fun. I love to joke around. So we had a really good group of friends that we just had a lot of fun. They were in my classes. Mr. Check, he was one of the English teachers, and we had a great time in his class. And he was, I know everybody probably talks about Mrs. Walker. She very much wanted us to dedicate ourselves to our education and always wanted to push ourselves to the next level. Like being stagnant wasn't an option. She wanted you to continually develop your writing skills and your people skills and who you are as a person. But I don't know if I have any particular favorite memory, but my favorite thing about Villa was that the relationships that I created that are still lasting today. I mean, I walked around prep, and even though Villa wasn't at prep, and I recognized like different teachers and Father Mike, and I'm like, this is still like this legacy that we went to and I'm a part of. I'm so proud of it, and to see what they've done with this school is amazing. And I still am friends with my Villa friends. I still see them. I know that I graduated. I'll name drop Kelsey Cabea. She married a prep grad, and they do. We have get-togethers, and there's a lot of prep students that go. There are a lot of Villa students. To this day, I still see them. Yeah. So I think it was more of like the community that Villa created for me in moving forward in my life that has really been the most impactful for me. Yeah.
I would, absolutely agree with everything you're saying. It is fun that those like foundational years through high school, and obviously for us we can talk about grade school, and even today how you still can look back and say, I still keep in touch with all these people that I had great relationships with, spent my time either playing sports or in the classroom with these people that I went to prep or Villa with, and it's just fun. And it, obviously for me, just being a part of prep as a staff member, I'm around it all the time, but I'm always reminded by people like yourself how even out there in the world, you guys are still all connected and get together and do those sort of things. And it is special. It does. That's why, I love what I do working with alumni from Prep and Villa, because we're all so proud of our school and want to see it continue to be successful.
Yeah. And when we hang out, obviously we're all at different stages of our life. We're all working. Some people have families, some people are getting engaged, and we talk about where we're at in our life, but somehow it always comes back to, hey, remember when we did this in high school, or remember this from Blessed Sacrament? And we just laugh so hard, and we tell the same stories over and over again, but it just means so much to us, that connection that we had. And it's like a really unique thing. One of the jokes, there was an attorney at my firm, and he was like, when I moved here, I'm not from here, but when I moved here, somebody asked me where I went to school, and I told them my college. And they were like, no, what high school did you go to? And he was like, what? And I was like, he's like, that must be an Erie thing where you guys ask what high school or grade school you went to. And I'm like, it kind of is. Like, I still ask that. Like, where did you go to high school? Yep. Like, we've gone to college and law school and all these things. And I always come back to, where would you go to high school? So it's a community. Like, once you find that prep community, I'm always looking for other prep or Villa alums. Yep. And I say prep collectively now as Villa too, but I'm always looking for another alum to be like, oh, me too. Right.
Isn't that so funny? Erie's just big enough that it's not a small town, but it's just small enough that when you do ask about high school, you could probably name like 3, 4, 5 people that you might have a similar connection with that person.
100%.
And especially then if you say prep or villa, it's like, oh, you know their brother or their cousin or a family member for sure.
Somehow all roads will lead back to prep.
That's right. That's exactly right. And it is fun. We get people who will reach out to our office from class of 1977. Well, we hosted a VMA reunion for the class of 62 over the summer here at Prep. And then obviously you get kids that just graduated 5, 6, 7 years ago that they didn't see this new building when they were students here, but they're coming to see what it's like. And it's really fun. Everybody's very enthusiastic and supportive. And after all the craziness of the announcement, the construction, all that, it's great to see everyone coming together in support of what we're doing here. Because really, when you bring it back down to it, it's about the kids that are here today. Mm-hmm. It's about those students that are here today, that they'll get the same experiences you and I got from Prep and Villa, and that they'll go out in the world and do great things like you're doing and be able to be on the Rambler podcast in 10 years from then they graduate. But it is pretty cool to read about your bio. I mean, you do have such a diverse legal background. You've done so many different things. You've been around the world studying your profession. And it's really interesting to me, being from the outside of your profession looking in, just it's amazing to see all the different things you have to navigate and know and how to deal with people and all this stuff. But you went from business at Duquesne to law at Berry and then dispute resolution at Pepperdine. I mean, like, what even inspired you, I guess, to get into law? Because I don't remember from grade school you ever really talking about law as a profession. What made you kind of decide on that path?
You know what? I was fine just being a business major. I had a job opportunity at UPMC after my internship. And for some reason, my dad, I had lunch with my dad, and he sat me down and he was like, hey, have you ever thought about going to law school? And I was like, well, no. And this was my senior year. And he was like, I think you'd be great at it. I think, you have this job opportunity that's great as well, but like, I could see you doing more. Obviously, we'll support you through everything. My parents, I know you know my parents, they are phenomenal people. They will support me through whatever I decide to do. And it kind of intrigued me, and I was like, well, I never thought about it. And he was like, well, why don't you take the LSAT and try? So I took the LSAT, I tried, and he helped me apply to some schools, and I got in, and I said, are we doing it? And I did it. Like, and I think this goes, I'm kind of skipping ahead, but this goes to the theme of my life of people ask me what my 5-year plan is. And I always tell them, I've never had a 5-year plan. The reason I travel and I've kind of bounced around is because when an opportunity comes to me, like I'll go in for it. Like I don't try to dictate my life and say, hey, in 5 years, this is what my life should look like. I kind of let what comes to me happen. And I think that's part of how I got to law school is I just didn't have a plan. I could have worked at UPMC, and my dad brought this to my attention, and I was like, why not? Let's try it out. And it was the best decision I've ever made. I packed up my car a few months later and drove down to Orlando and lived there for 3 years. And I never really knew what I wanted to do growing up. I knew that I was I know I'm talkative. I'm a yapper, but I knew I wanted to work with people in some aspect. And it was when that was brought up to me, I kind of thought maybe that's what I'm supposed to be doing. Like maybe this is why he's bringing it up to me, is that would fulfill what I've always thought I was going to do, but maybe I just didn't focus on that in college. And that goes to show, like, even in college, you can go through your whole college not thinking about what you're going to do, and then all of a sudden, change of path. Yeah. And it was fantastic. So you don't really have to know exactly what you're going to do. I was really hard on myself, not knowing what I was going to do. I looked at some people who were like, I'm going to be a doctor, I'm going to be a physician's assistant, I'm going to be a nurse. And I was like, I don't know what speaks to me until I found law school. That spoke to me.
I 100% relate because, through my time at prep and even when I was starting at college, I had no idea. I was also like a business major, and I'm like, I have no idea what I want to do. There was nothing that was really calling to me. And I kind of mentioned, I kind of stumbled into this career here at prep, and it's been since 2017 I've been working for the organization and kind of built the career I've had to this point. And I wouldn't have thought when I was in high school I'd be working for a school, because I would have, as I said to you earlier, I wasn't going to think of myself as a teacher or a principal, so those were out. So no, what role would I have in a school is kind of the joke that I have now. But I also, when you're talking about that, it makes me think about your foundation of faith through your years at Blessed Sacrament and Villa. You didn't let yourself get, I'm sure you thought about it, and there were some moments of being anxious of what I'm going to do, but you can tell that you live your life in a way of faith that, you know what, God's going to be the one to orchestrate this all. I don't need to worry about 5 years. Yeah, I need to plan and professionally prepare for what 5 years could bring, but at the same time, being a person of faith means that you're willing to just walk it out and trust God's going to be the one to open those doors. You couldn't have planned that conversation with your dad, to all the things that happen.
I truly believe that. Like, I truly believe that. And I always tell myself if something doesn't work out, like even when we joke up, I said, you know, this is a small thing, but we play bingo on Thursdays. And when I don't win, I'm like, it's not in God's plan. But that's really how I live my life, is that like, if something's in front of me and calls to me, like I in my body, I know if it's what I want to do and if it's not what I want to do. But I know like I said, I was criticized once for not having a 5-year plan. They were like, well, we want someone with a 5-year plan. And I'm like, not me.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm glad that I just follow my own intuition. And yeah, it does come back to my faith. It does come back to that foundation of, you know, like believing in God and believing in that what's meant for me will be, and just sticking true to that. Even when I feel really anxious or unsure, I always come back to that.
Yep.
What's meant for me will be for me, and it will come.
And that's part of the reasons that I'm so driven to, you know, see prep be successful, is we need more youth, more kids in this building experience that faith aspect of the school. That's the component they're not going to get anywhere else, you know, in Erie County for that matter, to be able to have that faith background as part of their educational experience, to see the world like you and I do, to be able to, you know what, sometimes you need to just have trust in God. Sometimes it's not about studying more, it's about you just need to pray a little bit more to calm your worry and your angst. And that's the beautiful thing about what we're doing here at Prep, and previously with Prep and Villa and Blessed Sacrament for that matter. I think, you know, one of the questions I had for you about your profession is, so from the outside looking in, you know, I read your bio and you're working in these different kind of, I'll call them sectors of law, different things that you're focused on. I guess, how does an attorney even start to delineate what it is that they want to do compared to other ways that you can practice law? And then what drew you to your study of practice and what you specialize in?
I think I'm in a really, really lucky position because my firm, I work with 14 other attorneys. Mm-hmm. And each of those attorneys kind of does their own thing. Some of them specialize in personal injury. Some of them have done domestic work and real estate, estate planning, you know, litigation. There's a wide array, and I'm an associate, so I get to work with all of them on all of their different cases. So when you're in law school, there are some kids who know exactly what they want to do. Me. Yep. Typical of me. I did not. So with my profession now, I get to do a bunch of different cases. And over these last few years, I've definitely figured out what I like, what I don't like, and kind of where I want to go with my practice. Again, it's all situational. So some people just know what they want with their life, know what they want to do. But it's okay if you don't, like me. And I'm just trying everything, and then trial and error. Okay, I tried that, not my thing. I like this area of law because it's fulfilling. I don't like this area of law because, you know, it's XYZ. So right now I'm kind of so broad in my practice because I'm trying to figure out where I want to go with it and who I want to be and the type of attorney I want to be moving forward and what area will allow me to do that.
Yeah. No, that makes sense. It's almost like you're gathering these experiences while you're also practicing. So you're getting, to your point, the phrase trial and error. You're experiencing these things. You're seeing what you like, what you don't like. And I'm sure also when you get something new, it challenges you too again, right? 100%. You got to learn this whole new area and figure it out. Yeah, right. I'm sure that can present as a great opportunity and a nice challenge to have too. But that's great to hear about the opportunities you have with the other attorneys in the firm that you get to learn from and obviously get some mentorship from them in these aspects that they specialize in. That's really great to hear. Yeah.
It really is. I'm very lucky.
Yeah. And it's I've referenced a couple times, about how you've traveled, the globe in terms of your studies and whatnot. But I think in regards to not practice specifically, but between the experiences you've had, whether it's down in Florida, California, wherever you've been, working for Judge Drusilla, give him another shout out,
Yes.
Prep Class 78. How do those things all mesh together to help shape your perspective as an attorney? Like, how do those experiences help create who you are today as an attorney, I should say?
I think it just helps you understand people better. I mean, school can teach you in theory how to practice. Like you're in class, you're taking your tests. I know the black letter law, but being able to work with different judges or different mentors or different attorneys helps you see how they practice, how they work with people, and how to, like, the things that we don't learn in law school is how to connect with people on a human level. Like these are people going through some of the hardest times in their life, or making the biggest decision, buying a house, or planning for their what happens when they pass away. I mean, these are big things. So they don't teach you that in law school.
Yeah.
You don't teach you how to handle emotions and stuff. So I think it was very important to get as much experience and as much advice from across the board, whether that's traveling and seeing how different cultures handle things and learning about that, or watching how, Judge Drusilla, is from the bench, or, the attorneys I work for, how they litigate and what they do behind the scenes with their clients. It's so important to be able to bring that back to my practice and say, hey, here's a situation I can now apply what I've gathered and hopefully do it the most effective way to help my client have the best result for them, whatever that may be.
Yeah. It seems like in your profession, it's naturally built in to have these opportunities to really, shape who you're going to be as an attorney, have these different experiences because of the type of requirements and things that you have to participate in to do. And I think for somebody listening to this podcast episode that's not an attorney, maybe they work in marketing or they work in some different area of business, or you work in the medical field, wherever it is, I think the lesson we can learn from you here is that we should really get out there and start to experience different opportunities. It could be shadow somebody for a day, or invite somebody that you admire in your profession out to lunch or coffee and just pick their brain for an hour about the type of work they do and how they do it.
100%. When I was in high school, I wish I would have been more proactive with my career and that kind of mentorship opportunities that I could have had. It really wasn't until college when I started applying for internships. I was at GE, and my mom works at GE, my dad works at GE, so. And then I moved to UPMC, and at that point I'm like, hey, look, I can, reaching out and putting yourself out there really opens up these doors. But yeah, I mean, the young kids, I'm kind of getting ahead of myself, but I'm the chair of the Young Lawyers Division, and I love doing that because a lot of these kids just passed the bar, and I know how that felt. And you're like, what am I doing? Like, who do I turn to? Where do I go? And you just need to find someone like, hey, look, like, I'm a resource for you for whatever help I can provide, helping your career move forward. And I think that's important for the kids at prep too, if they're listening or anything, anybody that, like, reach out. Like, if you're not sure about what you want to do, like, reach out to, they can reach out to you.
Yeah, they can
anybody,
reach out to me and I'll connect them,
connect them with alumni that can sit down with them, have a coffee with them. I mean, it's anybody across any profession, I think, needs to get out there and explore, because it's sometimes people, I think, and I love Erie, but sometimes they kind of get in the Erie bubble. Yeah. And we need to make sure that we're understanding that, like, it's bigger than us.
Yeah.
Like, what we're doing in life is bigger than just making sure that we're okay. Like, we need to find a purpose and to, like, better serve the community and better serve others.
Yeah, amen to that. And that's part of, I know we've talked to you about the academic path programs and our civics path here at Prep, and we also have business and STEM paths here as well, and medical. And the whole purpose of those is kids who think they have an interest in these fields to get some experiences and exposure to types of professions that they might be interested in. They might want to go into law and think that's what they want to do. They might start to explore it and realize that's not for them, or they might fall in love with it and know that's exactly what they want to do. But those are opportunities that we can have with the kids to allow them to have experiences here in high school that they wouldn't have had elsewise. So we can help play their part as their college preparation. They know what they want to go on and pursue or not pursue, 100%. Which is also successful in our eyes with those path programs. But yeah, it'd be cool. I know we talked about you getting involved with the civics path and doing something there, so we'll see what that turns into.
I am trying so hard.
I know it.
Say it on the podcast. I want you guys to do mock trials. Prep is built for this. I mean, the kids here are phenomenal.
Yeah.
They're so unbelievably smart. They have great support system here. I think you guys would thrive. So I'm going to say it again.
That's right. If you speak it out into existence. Yeah, that's right. Oh, that's funny. So I think one of the areas I want to talk to you about as well was, what's a skill you found invaluable that isn't taught in law school? And you talked about this a little bit just now about the working with people and whatnot, but maybe you can expand on that a little bit. Something that wasn't taught necessarily in school, but skills that you've learned that can apply to any of us listening for our professions that we hear.
I think it's really about managing yourself as well. Like I wasn't really sure how to, when I was in school, I always had something to look forward to, like a test, or like that was the next milestone. When I got to my practice, I don't have somebody telling me, this is what you need to do today and here are your goals. I had to kind of figure that on my own. I had to develop a way for me to stay organized. And I'm sure that was with everybody's profession. Like I come to work, now I make my own calendar. I make my own checklist. I make sure I set goals for myself. I've always had a goal set for me, whether it was getting through law school and my exams and graduation, or taking the bar exam and taking the test, and then I get my results. Now I don't really have anything. It's me. So really managing myself and my emotions and making sure I'm taking care of myself and so I can, again, better serve everybody. But you have to really be mindful that you're also a human being and that you make mistakes, and to be gracious with yourself. You're not going to always be perfect, and just to really like manage that aspect along with, and that goes hand in hand with what I said earlier about going out and traveling or getting to know different people of different professions, different religions even. I have many clients that are from across the board. So it's really helpful to get different perspectives to know how to, again, better work with people, better help them. So
yeah, I think that's one of the aspects that if you don't learn yourself, you're going to quickly learn that you have to be able to manage yourself. You have to be able to create disciplines and habits to be successful, or you're just, I hate to say it, you're in a job hop a lot of your life, because you're not going to stick at one place, because you're going to get a little bit of momentum, and then due to your lack of habits and disciplines, it's not going to turn out successful. It's part of the maturing and growing up and realizing that if you have these goals and ambitions and things you want to accomplish, you got to set those as priorities and tasks and how you're going to figure out to get there.
Yeah, discipline is so hard. Really, it's something that like you cannot teach that. You have to have that. You have to figure it out on your own. Like you have to want to be disciplined. You have to want to set goals for yourself. And I think, again, that comes back to your roots and your faith and where you come from. And it's, at Villa, I looked left and right, and there was this, I think about where they're at, like some of the other Villa students that don't talk to on the regular, but they're all successful.
Yeah.
And I think because they all had those roots of discipline and just being able to set goals for themselves and wanting more, wanting better.
Right. And I think that probably ties in with some of your message you usually give in your role as the chair of the Young Lawyers Division too. I'm sure as you talk with these attorneys about these certain things, of course there's questions about law and specific to your profession, but I'm sure these are also conversations you have as well. And what motivated you to get involved at that level, and how has that kind of helped shape your perspective in your career as well?
What motivated me to want to be more involved with the ECBAs, because when I started as a young attorney, I did feel like I had so many people that were so supportive. My family was beyond supportive. My mentors, the judges I worked for were beyond supportive. But beyond, because I was a county employee, beyond that, I was like, I don't know many attorneys who are my age. I knew nobody at that time. So I started to get involved to meet more people, to maybe, I could connect with I go home and tell my mom, like, oh, it was a long day of work, but they don't understand, so, and I don't want to burden them. That's not her job. So I'm like, maybe more like-minded people, but there's not a lot of young lawyers in Erie. So I wanted to get more involved to kind of try to create more of a nucleus where people could come and say, hey, I'm also don't really know a lot about this law. Like I wasn't born into a law family. I don't have these experiences. So maybe a community where we can all go and bond over similar experiences that we're going through and help each other through difficult cases, or, get feedback on things or whatever we're feeling. So I really enjoyed that this year. We've had a lot of great events. We have a lot of summer interns come in at different firms. So we had a happy hour for them. And a lot of those kids are from out of town. They don't know anybody in Erie.
Right.
So we'll bring them in and they get to meet some of the younger attorneys. And some of the young attorney, I guess, is 40 and under, or 10 years or less of practice.
Okay.
So a young attorney can also be someone in their 40s, 50s, 60s. It's just 10 years or less of practice. So we do have a large variety of people in the group. And then some of the older attorneys, more seasoned, will come to the young lawyer events and get to meet some of the young lawyers as well.
Yeah.
And so I really just wanted to help create more of like a something that I wanted was more of a community, and that's kind of why I've been involved with it.
So important to have that community aspect. To your point, I mean, some of these people are out of town, they don't know anybody, or somebody like yourself, you're from Erie, you don't know a lot of the, similar age, like-minded, attorneys at that point. That community aspect is so essential to any type of field that we work in, but to get with like-minded individuals, just to connect on a personal level, talk about similar challenges you're seeing in your field. It's amazing how much you get out of those and how much you can help other people too by being a part of that.
Yeah, 100%. It doesn't help that you get to know them, and then if you have a case with them, it's more comfortable.
That's right.
That doesn't hurt either. But
or sometimes it does, like, sorry, here, I gotta hit the axe down on you.
Also that. So it's a delicate balance, but it's a good one.
And it's pretty neat to see. I saw you shared that you passed the New York State Bar.
Did.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
What does that milestone mean for you in your career?
Well, I don't know why I did it to myself, to torture myself with another bar exam. But I really wanted to, because we're so close. We're in this tri-state area. I mean, we're close to Ohio and New York. We're right on the border of Findlay Lake. And I would like to expand for my future into more real estate focused. I like that transactional work. So being able to potentially do real estate over in Findlay Lake, Chautauqua Lake, I think will kind of open those doors. I don't plan on moving to New York.
Unless God opens that door.
Unless God opens the door to Wall Street. But that's not the plan. But being able to, practice just like in the neighboring state, and then I'm hopefully going to try to do Ohio next. So then I'll have Ohio, Pennsylvania, New York. Yeah. The good old big three over here.
That's right.
But and personally, it was just another. I always have these, feel like I need to set goals for myself to keep myself going. So I'm like, what? I have an opportunity to take it. Might as well take it. I'll be more mad at myself if I don't do this now than if, being lazy. What? The only reason I wouldn't do it is because I was lazy. You know. So and that's not an option.
Right.
So I did it, and for personally, I'm proud of myself. I figured it out, studied. I was working full time. I took the test at lunch during my lunch hour in my office, and my firm was so supportive. I really have to give a shout out to my firm. They're unbelievable resources for me, and they're so supportive. Even of me being here now this morning, they're like, we're so supportive of you getting involved in the community and being a part of the Young Lawyers Division. We want you to be a good person. I remember I got hired at my firm. I'm kind of getting off topic, but I got hired at my firm. And in my interview, we were talking about billable hours, and for those of you who don't know, it's like a way that attorneys keep track of their time. Yeah. And I remember we were talking about that, but what he said to me was we don't want the billable hours to be who you are. We want you to be a good person, serve your clients well, and be honest. And that really stuck with me in my interview. And I was like, this is where I want to be. This feels like everything I'm comfortable with, the values I have, and the person I want to be. That interview stuck out to me so much, and I was like, this is where I'm meant to be. Yeah. This is the path I was meant to be on. And I had a few other interviews too, and I went to those, and I left, and I was like, I don't know, that didn't feel right. I went to this one, and I was like, that felt right. That felt like where I was supposed to be.
Well, especially the type of work you do for your clients and how difficult those can be, but to know you have the backing of people who are supportive in you making the honest decisions, the right decisions to best serve your clients, I'm sure is very empowering, and also it can rest your mind in peace as well with what you have to do.
It does, and again, going back to the New York bar, I don't think I would have been able to study and balance all this without their support. So they definitely allowed, I credit them a lot for giving me the space to study and be really supportive, and they were so happy to, it's a really fun time there.
Well, I thought maybe the answer was going to be you're inspired by watching Suits and you wanted to move to New York City. No,
I could. Listen, he got away with becoming an attorney without spending all that tuition money.
Yeah, seriously.
If I could hack into something, Harvard grad.
Yeah. It's all about who you know, right?
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, Lola Jensen
Not even
is
with
how he
him,
was
though.
able to do it. Yeah.
Him, he doesn't need to know anybody. He's just hacking
He
into
just
stuff.
do it, yeah. I'd be remiss if I didn't have you on. I didn't mention Suits at least once, you know? Yeah.
I do love Suits. I
Yeah.
do love Suits, even though it's not
realistic.
not realistic. It's still
It's entertaining, though.
Very.
Yeah.
Very.
Yeah.
I wish I could just flip through some things and be like, I know exactly what this is.
Yeah.
Going on.
Do a quick read, skim over of a book, and like, all right, name any page and number, and I'll tell you what this is. Yeah.
No.
That's so funny.
I wish.
And no, unfortunately, the reality is that the legal profession is demanding, right? It actually takes a lot of hours of study and work and effort and preparation and working with your clients and all the things you are nodding at me at that the listeners can't see. You are absolutely right. So I guess, this is, again, I try to ask some questions profession specific and then balance some that everyday listeners can hear from you as well. What of your experiences have you learned how to balance, managing stress, workload, expectations that could help us, who do have demanding careers or just life circumstances, having a busy life between kids, a job, family obligations, things that we're all juggling and managing. What have you learned in your profession to kind of help you do that?
I think that there are a few things that have helped me. I've really struggled with when I first started being able to separate work from play. I definitely love to work hard, play hard. I know it sounds corny, but I really do. And so when I first started working, I was bringing that home with me. So the stress of my job, I was coming home and I was still thinking about work, still doing work. And I got burnt out like really quickly. So what I've learned is to kind of disconnect, set those goals, be disciplined during the days I'm at work. And then when I leave work, anything that's not a non-emergency, that can wait for the next day. And then I can be myself, come home, spend time with my friends and family and have those boundaries. I think setting boundaries with yourself and with others is extremely important. And sometimes I really struggle with setting those boundaries. But being able to separate work and play, I think is really important because you do need rest. Like your life shouldn't, I know entrepreneurs, they work 24/7, they're always working, but for me, I need rest.
Yeah.
And my brain does. And then because I also do a disservice to my job and my clients when I don't rest and I come to work not fully ready for the day.
Yeah.
So I think I've learned to set those boundaries and to separate work from my home life. I think having hobbies, I know I work with this couple at my firm who are really close friends, and they've kind of helped me. Shout out to them. They're Rachel and Stephen George. I'm going to give them a shout out. They're not Prepper Villa grads, but they've really helped me balance that. They have kids at home, and they they do a really nice job of working and then going home and leaving that there so they can spend time with their family. I don't necessarily have kids. I have a dog, but
that's right.
I do try to be present with my friends and family when I'm out of work and not bring that conversation or that stress or anxiety into that arena to be able to, I think it's very important for a lot of people.
Yeah.
I mean, my friends and I are very good at not bringing work in. I don't even know sometimes what they do for work. I'll be like, what do you do?
Yeah, by the way,
what do you do? But then I have some friends who I purposely have to talk about work.
Yeah.
People I will go, hey, want to get happy hour? And we will go to happy hour together and we'll sit there and talk about work specifically to get that out of our system.
Yes.
So, I really set boundaries and created different groups of things so I can separate myself from it. So,
was it easy for you to learn that, or was it kind of tough to navigate that?
It was really difficult for me to navigate that. I still navigate that. I still have that problem. But I just have to remind myself, it's okay. It's okay to set these boundaries. but it is a really difficult skill because I know a lot of people, there are people that want to people please.
Yeah.
There are a lot of people like that who just want to make others happy. And sometimes they do that at the expense of themselves. They drain themselves completely to serve others or to make someone approve of them or to make them feel better because they're liked.
Yeah.
And that is what I struggle with too, is just wanting to make everybody happy. And with my profession, it's never going to happen. I mean, I'm not going to make all my clients happy. You know, we can do the best we can, but you know, things aren't going to go my way 100%. And I need to learn to not drain myself because of that and set those boundaries and not let that affect my life too. I mean,
yeah, it's very difficult too when you are you're passionate about the work you do, or if you're very driven and ambitious, it's hard to shut off your brain from leisure time to work time. And sometimes those overmix, and that's something that I have to constantly remind myself of as well. There could be, you know, emails and calls that I get in the evenings, and you have to learn to be able to balance like what's an emergency that needs dealt with now and what's something that, you know what, I'm with my family now. This is time that I just get to mentally relax, be with them, enjoy that time, and we'll deal with this in the morning. And yeah, I equally have a tough time learning that and have learned it better at it now. But it is a skill, and you have to be able to manage that too, because to your point, you don't want to burn out. You don't want to just drain yourself, because then you're no good to your job the next day and ongoing. So it's not doing anybody any good.
No, it's not. And my sister's a Villa
Yep.
grad, so I'll shout her out, Sarah Gromacki. She is very inspiring to me because she's very disciplined. She's running a marathon actually this coming weekend in Chicago.
Shout out Sarah. Good luck.
Yeah, good luck, Sarah. One of the ways she deals with her stress is she's a runner, and she's very healthy, and she works out. And her discipline with even her training from the marathon, I think that's her way. She has a very demanding job, and I think one way that she disconnects, and that's inspiring to me, is she found a hobby. She finds a very good, healthy hobby where she can disconnect, do her running, and it kind of resets her, grounds her back from work. You know, I could probably be better with my hobbies. I do, like I bought a house, I've been working on that, but you know, finding a hobby. I know a lot of people play sports in the summer. That's like so fun to like just go out and play like in a rec league, MYAA, kickball we play in. Just getting out there and doing something other than work. I think that helps you reset and remind you that like, hey, I'm also a human. Like I also need a break. I also need to make sure I'm pouring back into myself.
Right.
So.
Yeah. No, absolutely. We need those things to be able to just relax ourselves. And you know what? Most of the time I found that when I do something fun like that, whether it's being a part of a rec league or just pick up basketball or whatever, you feel more energized and you're ready to get back to work, and you are more productive at that time versus the opposite. Yeah.
Yeah. We played in a softball game, Young Lawyers versus the Senior Sluggers.
Yeah, okay.
Young Lawyers won.
Shout out Young
Shout
Lawyers.
out Young Lawyers. But we played in that game. I was a softball player growing up, and I haven't played softball in years. And I was like, why don't I do this more?
Yeah.
I felt so good after playing. And I'm like, this is, like, I just forget. I forgot what it feels like to play a competitive sport because I just have been in school for so long. And once you kind of get past college and law school, we don't have teams there. Like, there's not many opportunities other than, like, oh, yeah, rec leagues exist. Like, I could play that or MYA. So, yeah, finding things that just ground you again and remind you who you are is really important.
Yeah. And I want to transition a little bit, too, from that to talk about this is a question that I want to say. You've been around a lot of different attorneys. You have a lot of different clients that I'm sure in a lot of different professions and things like that. From your just perspective and what you've seen, what separates someone who's a good professional from someone who's a great one? Like you've seen probably people who operate at a level that's, they're good, they're competent. But then you meet somebody you're like, wow, they're spectacular. In your opinion, I guess, what are things that stand out to you as differentiators from those people?
It's a good question. I think it's just wanting to do what you're doing. Listen, I have no problem with people going to work and doing it just to get a paycheck. Like that is totally normal. Like a lot of people will go to work and just be like, I'm doing this for a paycheck. This isn't my life. And then they'll go out and they'll be like in a band or something or like do something more. That's, but the people I think that are great are people that want to do what they do. Like, honestly, Jimmy, someone like you want to be here. Like, you make the best of your day. You set goals, you did this podcast, you do things that go above and beyond what the job entails. I think that's when you meet someone that's great, is that they just relentlessly go after what they want and eye on the prize. And, I failed the bar, and I'm not trying to go back to the work aspect of it, but I could have just given up, and I could have been like, that was, I'm not doing it. But it's like, I wanted it. I knew I wanted it so bad. I didn't care. I don't care if I took it 100 times or if it took me one more time. I was going to take it until I passed the bar and I was a practicing attorney. And I think that separates people from mediocrity and greatness, and just wanting what you do and really enjoying it. And like putting yourself into that and finding the best way to continue to like be who you are in your work.
Yeah.
Don't let it change you. And I think that's when people, like, I meet people, even other attorneys, and they're phenomenal attorneys, but they're the same person in and out of work. And I'm like, I like that balance, like you don't change who you are. You don't change your morals. And it's because they love what they do that they're not going to compromise who they are for what they do for their work.
Yep.
So I think it's really about just loving what you do.
That's huge, and I'm glad you brought that up, because it's kind of a rule that I have for myself personally, is that I want to be the same person I am here at work, at church, with my family, with friends. If I change my vocabulary or who I am or decisions I make depending on the environment I'm in, I'm not being true to myself and who I need to be. So it's really awesome that you bring that up, because that's just a rule that I kind of established for myself maybe 3-4 years ago. I was like, this is something that I've seen I need to grow in, and I started to align those values together. And to your point, then you feel more free in all areas to be able to be who you're called to be. And then circling back to how you started off by saying about people who just love what they do and they're at a place that they enjoy it are typically the ones who just relentlessly also pursue their goals because they love it. I think that was a great explanation of that, because I immediately thought of 3-4 people that exemplify both sides of it. People who they were competent and fine in what they did, but you could tell the passion wasn't there. Then there's the side of it where they feel they're called to be there. Those are the ones who are excelling because they're the ones doing that. And some of you listening to the podcast right now, you may be in the gray area. And I would challenge you to either say, are you in the right profession? Maybe explore what you can take that you've learned so far and go on and expand on that. Or are there elements of your job that you can kickstart something new or do something that's really going to fuel your passion within the type of profession you're in? So if you're in that gray, I would like to just kind of challenge you a little bit to say, find what's going to reinvigorate you. Find what's going to excite you and get that passion going. So I love your answer there. I think that was excellent.
Oh, good.
Yeah. And you gave me a shout out too, so even better.
Of course, Jimmy.
Yeah. That's funny. So for the young professionals maybe listening to this episode, whether in law or in another field, what advice would you give them about taking steps in their career journey? So maybe they're young in their career, they're just kind of figuring out the ropes. What advice do you have for the younger group, since that seems to be an area you've really started to deal with these young attorneys? Yeah.
Just get as much experience as you can, whether if it's something you think that you'll never do, like you're like, I would never be a teacher like you. Yeah. I would never be a teacher. And then just try it, because that might be exactly what you want to do. Like, just try things. If there's an opportunity in front of you and they're in, to join a different club or something, just try it. And if you don't like it, then fine. Then you can rule that out. But if you don't try, you'll never know. So talking with people, reaching out. I mean, if there's young students listening to this, like your parents, I'm sure these prep parents have connections. Talk to your parents about like what they do and, what you're interested in. They might know somebody that could get you an internship. I did that. My mom provided that for me. I remember I thought I might want to be a physician's assistant. She hooked me up with someone at UPMC. Quickly realized that's not my path. I think I fainted. But she, my mom was a phenomenal resource. She always believed in me. Same with my dad. If I talk to him about my ambitions, they're like, how do we make this come to fruition? So talk to people, get out there, take as many experience, travel the world, let the wind take you. If you don't know what you're doing, then stop trying to plan so much. Just let it take you where it's going to take you, and you'll end up where you're supposed to be if you have faith.
Yeah. And the one thing I was going to say with that too is I think sometimes when you're young in your career, you only have so much experience to really reference, and you feel like decisions are a forever decision, and it's not. When you're 25, 30, 35 years old, we are still so young in our career that you don't need to feel like, gosh, I don't know if I want to be a part of this because this might not be what I want to do forever. Don't make a decision based on where you're going to be at 65 or 70 based on now. It might just, to your point, try something out. Just experience it. Might be for a season, might be for a couple years. But you know what? That experience might lead to open the door to something else. Or you might find that's what you're passionate about, and there you go. You get something to kickstart where you want to be. So
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree wholeheartedly. And there's a lot of people I actually went to law school with who made it all the way through law school. After they were done, they were like, I'm going to pivot.
Oh my gosh.
And they do other stuff.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you're not locked in for life.
Right.
So if you feel like you're stagnant, going back to that, if you feel like you're stagnant or you're not living your best potential, you're just going through the motions, like go out there and try different things, try different professions, talk to people in different professions. That's the best thing I ever did. It led to many opportunities for me. And that's the only way you'll know is if you try.
Right. Well, this has been a lot of fun having you on the podcast. I have one more question for you.
Okay, Jen.
But this has been so much fun chatting with you
It
and
has
getting
been.
to learn about your career and your thoughts on and perspectives on this stuff. The last question for you is, like, with your career now, looking ahead, what excites you about the next chapter of where you're going in your career? And I know you've said you don't have a 5-year plan, so we're not asking for that. But what excites you now about what this next chapter might mean for you in your career, what you're looking forward to?
I'm just really looking forward to continually growing as a person, like really learning and honing in on different areas of law, being able to better serve the community. I'm excited I passed the New York bar. That's a whole different area, that I'm going to get into. I don't really know New York that well, so I'm going to start digging into that. So just being able to kind of now get over the initial uncertainty of becoming a lawyer, how to manage my cases. Now I know how to do this, so I'm going to go, now it's just about developing me and how I want my practice to be and who I want to be. So I'm really excited, looking forward is just continually develop who I am in my practice and set another goal for the Ohio bar and just keep chugging along. But, I've really enjoyed just the practice of law, and thank you for having me on this podcast.
Yeah, of course. This has been so much fun to have you on. And we did a little brief tour of prep before you came over here, and that was fun to walk through the halls.
We had a whole morning before
We
this
sure
podcast.
did.
We had a whole adventure.
That's right. And it was...
we should have started it when I walked through the doors.
Yeah, we should have clipped the mic on you right when you walked in, and then, let everyone listen through the conversation.
It's funny.
The After Dark episode, After Hours. That's funny. But no, that's great, and continue to do great things, Julia. It's been fun following you on social media and seeing you. You're in Florida at one point, then you're here, then you're back in Erie. I'm like, when did she get back to Erie?
God takes me places.
That's right.
God takes me.
That's funny. But no, thanks for coming down and spending the morning with us and being here for the episode.
Thanks for having me, Jimmy. It's been so fun.
You're welcome.